Fast forward, you come over channel so high gauge politics avenue. NPP Americano ebe massive protest a enya simple to akra. Na B and a day sansem we see etubia. Abra wo game in a press conference. I will share atade tuntum ebo kunyan a enya simple to akra. HSM. Sisi ade ombaye oye trepa ade tia aye aman no. If we say e kamye koye se nyiyimu bi eye aba aye judicial service nim. If we say Sedinam Tamakru say ohwe eye entasa na nadan kwakufu ado ede ball na say bia pepepe na omde abo eye NPP nkofo bia impo ebinum standard trial edi binum so akwakutu enti se yagya ne dia ade na sankofo no so ene yenso yagya wo mu na omu so efo mu hu endi the senti no omu so mba be ye wo ye kira anya asampoto akra onua omde date no aba abonten a yaje mre ne bi exumwo yemunwram ne yehwe abra already nwanfo no yemre na okasa efasa ensem wosie.
Now, I'm quickly running out of time, but there are two important issues I want us to deal with, because tonight we have the latest on the attempts to stop the release of former Masloc CEO. Let's get into that now. Court of Appeal has upheld the Attorney General's attempts to stop the release of former Masloc CEO from prison custody. Sedinam secured her freedom in an earlier Court of Appeal decision that overturned her 2024 conviction for graft. Tonight, while the AG may have got the interest of the Court of Appeal in attempts to halt their earlier ruling and reconsider the acquittal decision, the state is far from getting a hearing, and here's why. Today begins the legal vacation, which means most of the court, except for special reasons, will not work. Tonight, we know the justices who sat on the AG's application will seek the CJ's permission to hear the case during the 3-month vacation. Until then, the state will have to wait for however long that takes. Now, a few things you should have picked from what you have heard or I've told you so far. One, Sedinam remains a free woman. State attempts to halt her release or overturn the ruling hangs in the balance pending CJ's special dispensation for a sit-in. So the question is, now what? Well, I don't know. But I can also tell you that between now and whenever that decision takes place, the NPP will be roaring. Now, keep in mind that the opposition party is appalled by what they say is selective application of the law. In fact, they have said that if the evidence against Sedinam is unfounded, as the courts have decided, then the same yardstick should be used to measure the gravity of Chairman Wuntumi's crimes, the crimes that have landed him in jail for 2 20-year terms to be served concurrently. Tonight, the party goes a step further, and it's a demonstration. Here's National Organizer Henry Nana Boakye addressing the press.
The new Patriotic Party hereby serves notice that on 6th of August, next week Thursday, 2026, in collaboration with other political parties, civil society, organization, professional bodies, student movement, youth movement, and all well-meaning citizens, we shall embark on massive demonstration to defend our democracy. We are starting here in Accra and we'll be going to other regions as well to defend our democracy, our constitution, and the rule of law. And if you have a certain fear hovering around our justice delivery system, and this application is before them, all of us, we must speak against it. The new Patriotic Party demand the following. Since it is now abundantly clear that the Attorney General and the machinery of justice under the administration have no intention whatsoever of protecting the public purse, the Attorney General should, as a matter of consistency and fairness, immediately discontinue and discharge all appointees of the previous NPP administration currently standing trial.
A couple more things on this topic, and then we'll wind down on today's edition of Ghana Tonight. Now, Sedinam's acquittal ruling remains in force. Whether or not she is outside the jurisdiction of the state, it's a different story, because we haven't had any update at all as to if she's actually been physically released as she has been on paper from prison. Now, that's a conversation we'll continue here on this channel. The second thing being that August 6th is the first anniversary of the souls we lost. 8 men, as 8 gallant men, as we called them. The first anniversary is on August 6th. It's the same day that the NPP wants to go on a demonstration to call attention for the release of Chairman Wontumi. I don't know. Do with that what you may. Nothing else. Let's go up north. Tonight, the people of Dagbon have a new regent as the Kampakuya Na Yakubu Mahama is successfully enskinned. This is a key step in the kingdom's transition after the death of the late Yana Abukari Mahama II. The Kampakuya Na is expected to take over the affairs of the Dagbon kingdom until the performance of the final funeral rites of the late Yana and the enskinment of his successor. Now, that's a story that you hear more of on Weekend Central tomorrow at midday. I cannot have a conversation on it because I'm out of time, but I have a few seconds for this. Key points tomorrow, 7 a.m. here on TV3 and on 392.7 FM. Alfred Okanse, look at him there, together with his six horsemen, will be here to discuss the week's biggest stories, including the brow-raising Supreme Court declarations on political parties, striking out the delegate system. The Sedinam Tamaklu case is also there. Very opinion-splitting issues. I suspect that it will be very heated from 7 a.m. till then. You can skip your coffee and join Alfred then, because that will wake you up. I am Kemeni Amano. I will see you on Sunday at 1 p.m. on Hot Issues. Bye-bye.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Sasso in
No payment in the last 8 months for selling their produce to PBC.
We've been patient enough for all this while. Now, other towns around us, they've paid them, they've settled them.
So all of you here are from Oti?
Yes, yes. And part of Vota.
And part of Vota?
Yes.
So which communities are you from?
Apart from the Misandro Kofi, Adoko, Lolo, yeah, and then KJB is also here. Today we are here for our money. If they didn't give us our money, we are not leaving. We sleep here. We are not leaving. Since November, our fathers have their children whom they are taking care of. Me myself, I'm a student. I'm a graduate. I finished and I didn't gain employment, so I'm into farming now. Now you bought my product and you refuse to pay me. How do you want me to survive?
About 180,000 Ghana cedis.
That's how much you alone.
Yes. I'm even owing people, and they are on me because of this money. And even cocoa seedling that we bought it. We have credited it and plant. We are not being able to pay even to finish planting. The government supplied just a token out of my 7 acres I need. Just about 200 seedlings that I got. I'm compelled to buy additional more seedling and plant. Per seed, per hole, per plant now is costing about 10 cedis. And calculate over 500 per acre times 7 that I'm bearing. Labor and other costs are involved. Family caring.
Tonight for this story, I have Faisal Abdul-Idrisu, who is our regional correspondent. We also have spokesperson for COCOBOD, Sam Jerome. He's head of corporate communications there. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I'll start off with you, Faisal. The agitating farmers say they will not leave the COCOBOD office until their payments are made. How did that end?
Management of COCOBOD at the Howell office arrived. They came with the police. So the first action was for the police to engage them and also to remind them of the fact that they assembling at the office this morning was not appropriate. They needed to notify the police that they were coming to the office there. The police also urged them to proceed to notify them, that is if they still want to protest or go ahead with any form of demonstration. Then once they receive that notification, they will provide them the necessary protection so they could proceed with whatever demonstration of protest they want to do. The other part of the engagement today was when leadership of the agric farmers was engaged by the cocoa board. Those officers available at the time. It took more than 30 minutes, and after that meeting, the management told us that they have received a petition from the agric farmers and have assured them that they will proceed to engage the appropriate authorities to resolve the issues. And that ended the conversation for today. But they insist that if they don't get any favorable response in the next few days, they will be compelled to move to Accra to register their displeasure.
Faisal, thank you for the good job on this. I appreciate your time tonight. Sam, I appreciate that you've been on the line for a bit. Thank you very much for your patience. The farmers say that if their monies are not released, they'll be at your office here in Accra. When do you plan to pay them?
So, thank you very much. First and foremost, on behalf of Cocoa Board, I would love to say that we empathize with the farmers who are affected in this regard. But I mean, there are a lot of explanations to this. It is not as though Cocoa Board, in a generic sense, is not releasing funds for the payment of cocoa farmers. This is not the case, because I think about 2-3 weeks ago, we did release a statement, which in that statement contained the payment of over 2.6 billion, which was to deal with the outstandings that the various license buying companies owe to cocoa farmers that they've taken their cocoa on credit. So this is to suggest that Cocoa Board as an entity has fulfilled its obligations to the various license buying companies. However, we also received a complaint from our regional administrator, which suggested that there had been some fluid or some agitation in respect of some cocoa farmers. So we then took the report and subsequently commissioned a committee to investigate it. And you see, upon the investigation, we got to realize that some 1 or 2 license buying companies have issues over some bags of cocoa, all right, concerning PBC as well as Atlas.
Okay,
so what
are the issues that they have?
So the issues were, the 2 license buying companies were claiming, the purchase of the cocoa bean, all right, the purchase of the cocoa bean, and then Cocoa Board being the custodian of the beans, we took interest and said that, okay, if that be the case, then the cocoa will have to be seized and be under the custody of Cocoa Board. And then after the commissioning of the investigation, whatever be the report, then funds will be released to the appropriate license buying company for onward payment to the farmers. But it is important to stress that I heard some of the farmers say that for about 8 months, they have not been paid for their produce which have been purchased. That is absolutely not the case, because the quantum we are talking about is some 4,520. And this is not to suggest that for the entire season, this is the quantum of cocoa that is coming from OT and then Volta region. This is absolutely not the case.
I see. So Sam, that sounds like
that we've been able to.
That sounds like it is not possible that they couldn't have been, based on the transactions between you and your LBCs, it's not possible that the farmers should be owed 8 months of bean supplies. So then is this PBC problem that you have paid PBC and PBC has fallen short of paying the farmers?
You see, not at all. It is not the case that all the beans that have been purchased from the Volta or the OT regions, payments having been made since the commencement of the season. That is not at all. What is available for Cocoa Board to deal with is the 4,520 bags, okay, all right, which we commissioned, a committee to investigate as to why the feud between the two license buying companies. And I can confidently tell you that the committee has concluded its investigations and report has been submitted to Cocoa House. So by next week, full implementation of the recommendations or the findings in the report will be done, and this issue will be brought to an end. So I am assuring the affected farmers that by next week, this issue will be settled. And I did indicate that we sympathize or empathize with them because it is not our wish for even a cocoa farmer to be owed. So we really understand their complaints or agitations, but they should not make the assertion that Cocoa Board owes them from the commencement of this season. That is maybe some 8 months ago. That does not represent the fact or the truth. That is not correct.
Very well, Sam. We'll leave it here and follow up on this story next week. Thank you so much for your time. Sam Jerome is Head of Corporate Affairs or Corporate Communications at Cocoa Board. And to that. Now, Parliament has risen, but the House failed to reconsider the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, also known as the Anti-LGBTQ+ Bill, despite assurances by the Speaker. At a visit to the Chief Imam, Speaker Dagbon assured him there are fresh issues with 3 critical clauses, including concerns raised about the sentencing regime, which requires a second look. Now, despite being advertised in the order paper, a motion to rescind the earlier passage for a second consideration never happened. But there are other issues that have characterized this week. So let's bring in now Christian Yale, who's live from Parliament with a bit more on the last 3 days leading to recess or break for our MPs. Christian, what a healthy year it has been in Parliament, but the last 3 days have been very crucial. Why is that the case?
And it's been very packed week this week, especially as we know that over the last couple of days, the earliest the House adjourned to the next day was 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. at most. In fact, on Tuesday night against Wednesday and Wednesday night against Thursday, we crossed midnight and adjourned around 1 a.m.
We ain't some our team course or channel so, Mammy, and I was so Jim Red. I said, so why didn't they do everything?